I want to start this video by showing you the finished T2 VW bus that I did. I like for my customs to kind of tell a story. So when you look at them, you can kind of tell where they've been, where they are, and where they're going, that kind of thing. This one was a tough one. I struggled with it. I ended up actually restarting this one 3 different times over the last month because I just couldn't get it to look the way that I wanted it to. And in the end, I'm still not completely happy with it, but about 80%. I took a newer casting and I tried to make it look like an older split window VW bus. And that's tough, but I added some side rails. I wanted it to look used, like an old shop van, something that ended up hauling leaves and garbage away from people's houses and garages, that kind of thing. But it's still on the road and it's still doing its thing. That's what I wanted it to look like. And overall, I kind of think it looks that way. But again, you know, I may redo this one sometime down the road. I'm not for sure. It's a good casting to do. And I tried different new techniques as far as weathering and rusting with this one. Again, some I'm not totally happy with, but overall, I guess it turned out okay. So continue to watch the video. If you like it, like the video, and give me a thumbs up, and consider subscribing. I've got some new ones planned for the next month or so. So enjoy the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. As I mentioned before, I wanted to kind of make this look like an older split window bus. I mean, obviously the cab is different and it's not going to look exactly the same, but I wanted to kind of give it that look and feel. This proved to be pretty difficult. I ended up using a finishing nail that I sanded down to the correct, what I thought would be the correct width and thickness. I got it in with JB Weld, actually super glued it first and then used JB Weld to secure it. Once it was in though, the windshield plastic didn't really want to fit well, so I had to modify it a little bit to get it to fit. But it took some work, but I think it actually turned out pretty good. I would have been better off using maybe a piece of a large paper clip or something like that. That probably would have been a little bit better than the finishing nail, but overall turned out pretty good. I had originally a plan to replace the stock wheels and tires with something a little nicer, something maybe off like an M2 casting or something. But then I got the idea of keeping the originals and making my own covers for them. And I always liked the pizza pan cover look on the wheels. Finding something that fit perfectly was almost impossible until I come across these wing window rivets that I had bought a few years ago when I redid the windows on my 68 VW Beetle. They were perfect. Once I cut the studs off the end and sanded a little bit, they fit the wheels perfectly. This is the fun part for me, when I get to try new and different techniques for weathering and adding some texture to the custom. I've used the salt technique a few times now, and I'm very pleased with the outcome. Basically, after I apply my last coat of primer, I mist it with some water out of the sprayer, and then randomly add some kosher salt and some fine grained salt to it. You can never put too much on. It's easy to take off. Once I'm kind of happy with the way it looks, I'll go ahead and start painting the car or whatever color it's going to be. Again, a couple light coats. Then once it's dry, it's as easy as just running the car under some warm water and using a brush to knock the salt off. Some people have asked me about the rust and what I use for the rust. I actually use a couple different things. I use a mixture of hydrogen peroxide and fine steel wool that I let soak and then completely dry, and then it just crumbles into a nice rust. And I also use some pastel chalks and put them on the custom and brush them out as well. Then once everything's the way I like it, I'll give it a matte clear coat. For this one, I think I went a little overboard with the rust. But again, I was trying new things, and I still like the way that it turned out.